Thanks. Hi. Is my hair all right? And it's because I just got off the train, and that's why I'm a little bit late, but I apologize for that. As Henry said, this pamphlet consists of two speeches, one which was the one that I made at the convention back in 2017. But I've kind of based what I'm going to talk to you about today around the other speech in that. I developed some of the ideas in that. That was a speech that was made at the Ivor Novello Awards just a week after that original speech here at the convention. This is called Good Pop, Bad Pop. Pop music is the prism through which I see the world. If I'm walking through the city on a sunny day, I will probably be humming Mr. Blue Sky to myself. If I'm sprinting down the high street because I can see the bus pulling in at the bus stop, and I'll probably be panting, I'm gonna run to you, I'm gonna run to you, if my feeling's right, I'm gonna run all night, I'm gonna run to you, and then probably miss it. If I am browsing in a supermarket and I consider a bag of clementines that are labeled easy peelers, I will immediately think of the Eagles. I got a peaceful, easy peeling, and you won't let me down. And when my central heating went on the blink towards the end of last year, I could be heard wandering around the house singing Hall & Oates. I'm sure you know the one. Oh, here she come. Watch out, boys, she'll chew you up. Oh, here she come. She's a fan heater. So it's no surprise that my perspective on Brexit should also be informed by pop music. Now that term pop has become something of a dirty word over the last couple of years or so. But I'm talking about good pop, as in popular, as opposed to bad pop, as in populist. And I'd like to talk about the difference between those two for a while. The UK pop charts used to be this crazy collision of rampant commerce and grassroots democracy. People voted by buying records and then watching their progress up the charts. It was a national pastime. I can even remember kids bringing radios to school to hear the midweek chart positions. It was absolutely mainstream, but also anyone could participate. Anything could happen. My favorite example is the song Oh Superman by Laurie Anderson, which got to number 2 in the singles chart back in 1981. That song is basically someone talking through a vocoder for 5 minutes while someone else says, ha, 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 ha. If something that radical and left field could be a hit, then surely the idea of pop was a good thing. New and challenging ideas could rise to the top if enough people decided to put them there by buying the records. It was proper democracy. People from all walks of life and different backgrounds, beliefs, ethnicities, gender orientations, shoe sizes, could find that they actually had something in common. They liked dancing to a particular song. Back to the history lesson. All was sweetness and light in Chartland until sometime in 1996, someone came up with the bright idea of selling CD singles at a discounted price during their first week of release. And hey presto, the spell was broken. Songs started going into the chart at number 1 or number 2, and then sliding down to number 24 the next week, or even dropping off the chart altogether. All sense of a narrative to the chart disappeared virtually overnight, And the general public's interest also waned almost immediately. Death by marketing. And that's the moment when good pop became bad pop. When pop began to stand for populism rather than popularity. This weird self-generated form of showbiz democracy had been superseded by the primitive desire to simply get a bargain. Now, the point of this speech isn't to get you all dewy-eyed about the good old days. I'm mentioning the pop charts because I think they do actually shed some light on Brexit, and particularly the validity of a second referendum. As we all know, the 2016 referendum in this country ended up splitting the popular vote 52% to 48%. And let's not forget that that's after accusations of chart rigging, which I think you'll probably be hearing more about at some point today. Yet since that result, Brexit has consistently been presented as the will of the people. Really? Or maybe Gallup should be called in to investigate. They used to compile the chart, you know. Because that referendum result is the equivalent of a single entering the UK top 40 at number 19. Think about that for a moment. Number 19. It's hardly setting the charts alight, is it? We wouldn't even have dared to call it a hit back in the day. We really wouldn't. We definitely wouldn't have dared to call it the will of the people.
Straight in at number 1.
Definitely.
Smashing into the top 10.
Pretty much.
Limping in at number 19.
You're having a laugh. Believe me, if your new record goes into the chart at number 19, it definitely doesn't feel like a hit. It hurts. So why is this result being presented as one? I think the great unifying chart hit of today would be called something like, "Are you sick of hearing, reading, eating, breathing, dreaming about Brexit?" There is a chart topper, if ever I heard one. A number with popular appeal, something people from both sides of the debate can agree on. Finally, some common ground. So, let's do it again. Let's have a second referendum, and let's define a margin of victory this time, and then let's put this nightmare behind us and move on to thinking about something more interesting instead. Like dancing, for instance. Shall we?